is Elgin Diauna, and I will be talking about special education.
Introduction.
Every child has a different learning style and pace. Each child is unique, not only capable of learning, but also capable of succeeding. By Robert John Mehan. What a students with disabilities can do and what a normal students can do. A normal students can play without a limitation, can do all school activities, and can perform regularly and normally. While in contradict to that, a disabled students can play normally, limited environment to socialize with, and limited activities to do, and it requires a special education services. But through all the challenges and conditions of students, everyone can achieve their goal through their self-confidence, optimism, perseverance, patience, persistence, passion, and motivation. And now, let's move on to our topic, special education.
But before we start, let us know the learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to define the possible needs of the students with disabilities of proper special education services. Second, describe the importance of individual with disabilities education for families and how IDEA 6 principles governing the education of students with disabilities provide support for them and their children. And third, use the 6 principles for special education services to those students with disabilities. Special education is a specially designed instruction that addresses the unique needs of a student eligible to receive special education services. Special education is provided at no cost to parents and includes the related services a student needs to access his or her educational program governed by federal law, Individual with Disabilities Education Act or IDEA. So it is said that special education is a program that are designed to the students' needs due to their disabilities when it comes to learning. It is special education governed by federal law, IDEA or Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So what is IDEA or Individual with Disabilities Education Act? The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act is a law that makes available a pre-appropriate public education to eligible children with disabilities throughout the nation and ensures special education and related services to those children. So IDEA or Individual with Disabilities Education Act allows students with disabilities to get the education they need to thrive. So IDEA allows parents and guardians to access the services necessary to prevent learning disabilities and other conditions for completely relying a child's academic career. So what are the purpose of IDEA? First, ensuring quality of opportunity for all disabled children. Second, a full participation. Third, independent living. Fourth, economic sufficiency for individuals with disabilities. For all the children who have disabilities in the early stages, months to 2 years old, early intervention services are available to children who have disabilities and or developmental delays. The Early Support for Infants and Toddlers or ESIT program provides services to eligible children and families in a variety of settings in their homes, in childcare, in free school or school programs, and in their communities. So for early stages, the program that provides services for the children and families who have disabilities and developmental delays is the Early Support for Infants and Toddlers or ESIT. And for the school ages 3 to 21 years old, Students with disabilities who are determined eligible for children, education, and related services are entitled to a free appropriate public education or FAPE. Services are provided to eligible students according to an individualized education program or IEP in free schools, elementary and secondary schools or appropriate settings. And for the age 3 to 21 years old, the program or services that are related to these school stages are the pre-appropriate public education and individualized education program. So here are the list of the children with disabilities who typically qualify for special education services. So first, intellectual disability or having impairment in cognitive functioning characterized having an IQ of less than 70 given the average of 100. Second, hearing impairments including deafness. Third, speech or language impairment. Next, visual impairments including blindness. Next, serious emotional disturbance. Next, orthopedic impairments or motor disability. Next, autism spectrum disorder or developmental disability caused by the difference in the brain. Next, traumatic brain injury or disruption in the normal function of the brain caused by the blow, bump, or jolt to the head. Next, other health impairments, specific learning disabilities, and developmental delay. And for those students with disabilities, it also requires that the following 6 principles be provided who receive special education services. So number 1, free and appropriate public education or FAPE, a public education at no cost to parents, guardians designed to meet the individual needs of each student, provide access to general education curriculum, provide services in accordance to IEP and result in an educational benefit to the child. So a FAPE or FAPE, this is a program in which it is less costly to the guardians of the students with disabilities. It is a public education designed by government for the children with disabilities. Number 2 is non-discriminatory identification and evaluation. It refers to the process and instruments used to identify individuals with disabilities. So, it is a school requires non-biased methods and approaches in the evaluation process to ensure that there is no discrimination on the basis of race, culture, or native language. Number 3, Individualized Education Program or IEP. This document is the foundation of special education and specifically describes the services to be provided to the student with disability. So it includes the description of a student's current level of educational performance, information on his or her disability influences academic performance in details, needed adaptations, and accommodations. Number 4, Least Restrictive Environment or LRE. This indicates the educational setting in which students with disabilities receives special education services. So, LRE or Least Restrictive Environment is the most popular for the students with disabilities is SPED. So, SPED school provide a complete materials for the learners with disability. Parent participation. So, parent of a child with disabilities must be a member of any group that makes a decision regarding the placement of least restrictive environment of their child. So, parents have the rights to notify all meetings regarding their child placement, access to planning and evaluation, materials, and notify of any planned evaluation. So, last, due process safeguards. So these include the protection afforded to their children and their parents under IDEA or Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So obtaining parental consent for all evaluation and educational placement decision, confidentiality of all records relating to a child with disabilities, independent students, evaluation at public, express process learning when the school and parent may disagree. So that's all. Thank you for watching.